Alright, I guess we're doing this. I am Live the Truth. Today I'm going to be reacting to the One Piece manga chapter 1115. Last chapter 1114, Vegapunk started off his little recording, his little spiel around the world with the fact that the world is going to be sunk under the ocean ultimately. Ultimately, we're going to be completely under water and sunk to the bottom of the ocean. And as the entire world is hearing this and reacting to it differently, including the Marines and a couple other people around the world, people we've seen before, Vegapunk decides to use some science to explain why this is going to occur, or I guess to justify what he's saying. Since this is a pre-recorded message, and this was back when he was alive, he said if his calculation comes true, that sometime around the time of this message coming out, there will be a non-natural earthquake, a non-natural phenomenon that will cause the sea levels to rise 1 meter, which was the destruction of Lucia, which did have water raise levels all around the world, and this ended up being what a lot of people were peaking up and justifying his words at. And he goes on to say that he made two grave sins. One, studying the Poneglyph, studying the void century, that was a big taboo. And second was his ultimate invention, something that he was dreaming of, I guess the infinite energy source. And with it, he flew too close to the sun with it, and it ended up being used in a way that he did not desire. And at the same time, we end up seeing that one of the Gorosei members ends up finding the Mother Flame during this. All of them are scrambling to do just try to find a recording snail to destroy it. Saint Saturn's still dealing with trying to capture Robin and trying to deal with the Straw Hats, while Luffy back in year 5 with the Giants are dealing with the Boar again. Even in year 5 though, his attacks are still not really doing much against him because he's still catching fire. So the Gorosei members are still acting and still trying to stop this broadcast while this is going on. But Vegapunk continues to say that before he gets into all that, he's going to start at the very beginning. About 800 and 900 years ago in the void century, with the first person who became a pirate, first person to set out to sea, Joy Boy. And that's kind of where we left off. So he's about to start out the world about Joy Boy, and we're about to go into the story of Joy Boy. So I'm super interested to see what Vegapunk has to say about this. This is probably new information that we've been clamoring for years. So I can't wait to hear what he has to say. But without further ado, One Piece chapter 1115. Let's get into it. Alright, One Piece chapter 1115, Continental Fragments. Oni Child Yamato and the Holy Inari Shrine Pilgrimage, Volume 5, getting a bento from Hiyori and Otoko. So this is her about to start her journey to return the sword on Yasuo's behalf that Kinemon instructed her to do last chapter. She's, I guess, stopping to get some food from Hiyori and Otoko, which is great to see them. Great to see Yamato just cheesing, smiling. Oh, I'm so happy. Alright, let's go into the chapter now. We have the flower capital in Wano. The news shakes Wano too. It's hard to believe this foreign transmission is reaching us. You may be wondering how he came to be known as a pirate. Okay, Vegapunk talking about like how you're wondering how Joy Boy became to be known as a pirate. We found the snail in the castle among Orochi's possessions. So Orochi had a transponder snail probably during his time with Kaido, and that was giving off the feed from Vegapunk. They're like, oh, I didn't even know we had this. They probably don't have a visual one, probably just an audio one. So you were a pirate, Joy Boy, just like Luffy. You know of him, my lord? Momo would know some stuff about Joy Boy because he, I guess, heard the name. He did hear the name from Zunisha, so I guess he would know some stuff. A jail cell at the G4 Naval Base. Joy Boy? Who cares? I bet you could easily beat him, right, Captain Kid? Wait, right, Captain Kid? Duh. The man's already dead. No way. That's our captain. The only thing bigger than his confidence is his belly. Yep, I'm clearly a million times tougher than this Joy toy. It's Joy Boy, boss. Is that the dude who was pretending to be Luffy, who now is pretending to be Captain Kidd from right after the time skip? I was so concerned that Captain Kidd was actually in jail. No. Oh my goodness, the dude pretending to be Kidd and his crew. That's great. He can't catch a break. Do bear in mind, I only have access to a handful of poneglyphs, but their combined narrative clearly chronicles an unbelievable history about a great war in the distant past. Oh, so this is the war with the 20 kingdoms, I'm assuming? The one that ended up changing the world entirely? During that period, Joyba faced an enemy, the organization now known as the World Government. Oh, okay, okay. Wait, isn't that us? Well, he did say he was a pirate, so it makes sense. You're like, World Government, is that us? Well, Joyba was a pirate, so I guess it would make sense. Vegapunk of the Gorosei, that's the boar one. The Gorosei is hot. Literally, they're hot. So mad about this. Back then, they were merely the allied powers. So they weren't known as the government. The world government, they were known as the allied powers. A temporary coalition consisting of 20 separate kingdoms. Oh, that's one of the Gorosei. He's knocking out every transponder snail he's coming across. That looks like Conqueror's hockey. Because all the snails are just passing on and falling. So I'm assuming all the Gorosei members have Conqueror's hockey. Which is wild. That's wild that every one of them do. But I guess that makes sense since the board threw out a Conqueror's hockey scream not too long ago. It can be assumed that an alliance was the only feasible way to oppose the formidable faction to which Joy Boy belonged. I am afraid that the cause of this conflict still eludes me, so I do not presume to judge the morality of the combatants. I can, however, say that this war was a clash of two opposing ideologies. So, Joy Boy, even though he was a pirate, I guess he came from the Ancient Kingdom, was part of the Ancient Kingdom, which is why the 20 separate kingdoms came together, because they couldn't just stop him with the backing of the Ancient Kingdom. At least that's the way Vegapunk is wording it. I mentioned earlier that Joy Boy was born into a fantastical civilization, and Zoe in the New World. So, okay, the people on Zoe are also picking this up, though. I guess they have a transponder sales too, but people on Zoe is also picking this up. I don't know if Zunisha is hearing this, but Zunisha probably already knows this tale. One so advanced that it's hard to believe it existed over 900 years ago. The weapons that existed during this century-long struggle are far beyond our modern science. Fair. What's that peanut head fool saying? No, not Fox. Not Fox. What relevance does Foxy play in hearing this information? It's not like he's gonna make any change to himself or the world from hearing this info. Oh, boss, you're making me hungry. What are these guys? He's so big-headed. Poo. Such technology is baffling even to a genius such as myself. And therein lies our problem. Labophase. Bing. Stussy, wheeze. Huh? It's me, Edison. Okay, so Stussy's still there with Kaku and trapped in a bubble, see? And she, even though she decides to stay behind, looks like she's still communicating with people, with Edison in particular. Lower the barrier and hightail it out of there. But I can't. What if something were to happen to the Straw Hat crew? I'm gonna be straight with ya. There ain't no point in the barrier no more. Huff. Not when there are monsters on the island who can just straight up ignore it. So since the Gorosei can basically go through the barrier, tank it, and regenerate, they're like, what's the point of a barrier? People could just go in and out of it. So you're good. Drop it. We've done all we can for them. I'm sure they'll make it out somehow. How much longer, Jinbei? My apologies. We're almost there. There's nothing to apologize for. We were busy. Is that you, Zoro? You're gonna get it later. Oh, that's Nami. Okay. Now hurry up. They're moving their ships to blockade the northeast coast. So Nami's laying into them. I'll never forgive you if we get blasted out of the water after all of this. That's good to hear. Okay, back to Stussy. That's good to hear. I was worried Stella would never forgive me if I let them get caught. As if. Now get your ass out of there. but I don't know what to do with myself. Huh? Now that Stella's gone, who am I meant to live for? I have no purpose. Kaku also peeping this. Not sure what he feels about this, but he's also listening in. Don't let him use his sword. This geezer can cut anything. Okay, so now we're with Bonnie and Sanji dealing with the Gorosei member that just took out a bunch of giants. The horse Gorosei member. Sense the living voices. Ching. Bonnie. Bonnie, get down! Oh my goodness. He tried to straight up slap. I don't know if he tried to decapitate her, but he tried to split Bonnie straight up in two and took down a ship's head right behind her. Oh my goodness. Yeah, that I'm not sure if Bonnie would have survived a cut like that. Look at Frankie. I can't maintain distorted future for very long. Wheeze. So yeah, she shrunk down for being a giant. The void century ended with Joy Boy's defeat. And we're looking at Zunisha and the Iron Giant. I'm assuming we're going to see some relevance in it. It's just been stomping around the past couple of chapters. How much do you intend to say, Vegapunk? He's leaving! So, okay, the horse elder is trying to go off, I guess, to find a way to assist in getting rid of the transponder, Snail. But what in the world is he doing? Tick. There are too many life forms up here. But the aftermath had grander consequences. The wake of that ancient conflict scared the world, scarred the world, and those scars never healed. Did Buddy just cut the whole Labophase from the cloud that the island, or I guess the top part of the island was on? Okay, I guess we're just slicing Sky Islands. Oh my goodness. What the people that were inside watching the top of the area just fly up? Even the Seraphim are confused, like, what in the world? Yeah, that man really just sliced that thing up. Back to the transmission. We all know travel between islands can be excruciatingly difficult. The seas one must traverse are so vast and perilous. Most people are content to live and die at their place of birth, never experiencing any cultures other than their own. Isn't that a bit obvious? People listening, isn't that a bit obvious? That's why we don't go nowhere. Yeah, everyone knows the seas are dangerous, duh. This is common knowledge to us now, but it wasn't like that 1,000 years ago. A cataclysmic ecological disaster occurred during the Void Century, and the ancient world was swallowed by the ocean. We are now living on top of the remnants, continental fragments of the land masses that once were. Whoa. So are you are you saying that the modern One Piece world, with the crazy water and oceans that separates a bunch of islands that people can't traverse through, the reason the islands are separated like that is because the former lands of the world were completely submerged underwater by rising tides and sea levels? Say what? The Revolutionary Army is flabbergasted. Say what? The world of a millennia ago sleeps unseen at the bottom of the ocean. Jesus. I know it's hard to believe on my word alone, but there really was multiple vast continents back then. Multiple, not just our small little island. There were big continents. This is insane. Hey Nojiko, where do you think we're going? The whole world is at stake here. Fill me in later. I've got to check the tangerine orchard. Nojiko don't really care. She's just tending to her tangerines. This change in the world helps explain how a century of history could be censored, a feat that seems that seems nigh impossible. But it makes sense when you consider the undeniable conclusion all the data points to. With a mere century, the average sea level rose by a staggering within a mere century, the average sea level rose by a staggering 200 meters. Hold up. The world was shook over 1 meter. And Doflamingo said last chapter that most modern day islands are sunk after 5 meters. You telling me there was a 200 meter sinking 800 something years ago? 200 meters? Oh my goodness. What? You're kidding. 200? A warship's only 60 meters. No wonder the old world disappeared. Hey, stop listening to that crap. We have work to do. The Marines are at attention like, whoa. Our ships are 60 meters, 200, like 3 times these mugs. Oh my goodness. The Seraphim and all those imprisoned Cypherpole agents were spotted falling out of the lab building. We've got to rescue them. So yeah, when Buddy cut the building off, he sent the Seraphim and a bunch of the Cypherpole agents that were in there just falling down from the top. My goodness. Did y'all hear that? His tall tales keep getting taller. The old fart's lost his marbles. What a joke. Oh my goodness, that's probably that mocking island, that laughing island again. Oh my goodness, Sakura Kingdom, Chopper's hometown. Is that really possible? Look at him. Look at the old bag. Even now, the world still finds a way to keep things interesting. Oh, doctor. That mountain is around 200 meters tall. You're saying something that tall would be submerged? That's awful. How many people died? So a bunch of other places are trying to comprehend 200 meters, which is a crazy number. That begs the question, how and why did such a flood occur? Naturally, your first inclination might be to assume it was some kind of natural disaster. However, I can say for certain that it was no such thing. It was a man-made calamity. You can't be serious. Hey, the news, big news, Morgan having a fit himself. Shh. They was like, shh, we're trying to hear. If this was brought about by natural means, catastrophe was brought about by natural means, there would be records denoting earlier warning signs several centuries earlier. So even if it was something natural, there would have been warning signs noted in something saying that this was coming. Something of a 200-meter flood doesn't come without you seeing it coming. Granted, think of Water 7. When the giant flooding was happening with the one that the city's built around, you could see the water getting pulled away miles and hours before it occurred. You knew days in advance before it occurred. It's been happening for years, so people already had recordings of it happening. So that's what he means. It would have been in play if it was natural. We would have known about it already. He's making too much sense. Vegapunk is making too much sense right now. It was a severe world-altering event after all. But all my research into meteorology, geology, ecology, and atmospheric science confirmed that there was no such natural buildup. It is impossible for such a drastic change to happen spontaneously within the span of a mere 100 years, meaning the cause lies elsewhere. My suspicions were confirmed a few days ago when I analyzed the world's current sea levels. This will be hard to accept, but that disaster 800 years ago was caused by ancient weapons technology capable of sinking the world. And that very same firepower evidently still exists, just waiting to be used again. In other words, the Great War, which ravaged the world during the Void Century, is still ongoing. The genius shed light on a forgotten history. Emu at the end, chapter 11:15, and that's it. That's where we're stopping. That's where we're stopping. So long story short, the long and short of it, Vegapunk basically said, "Hey, our world is going to sink under the ocean. We're going to sink." That 1 meter rise from a couple of days ago was proof of my words. So you need to listen to this. He said, the world we're living in right now, we can't travel to place to place. We can't go between islands. We can't do anything because of how treacherous the water is. So because of that, we're all stuck in our own little bottleneck, our own little areas. So we can't exchange information between cultures, which is why it was so easy to hide out, to exclude information from the voice century. And what made it even easier is the fact that the voice century is at the bottom of the ocean. The kingdom, the way that the world was, the shape of the world from that time ago, 800 years ago, is under the ocean because there was a flood that enveloped 200 meters of ocean. The ocean levels rose 200 meters. Not natural causes. There was no way that Vegapunk could scientifically justify this happening naturally. So it must have been man-made. And ironically enough, the weapon that could have did this still exists. It is out and about to this day. This war is still going on, and flooding is going to happen again. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Vegapunk is spitting. He got the Marine second guess. He got the Marine believing him. Some people are laughing him off, but some people are actually believing him. And that's because this man is spitting facts. I mean, it's hard to comprehend, people who live in their own little bubble or looking at the mountain. That mountain's about 200 meters. This ship's about 60 meters. What would happen if a bunch of water that tall just came enveloping? How many people would die? How would the world change? They're thinking about this. They are. And they already had to see the proof there. Vegapunk's already given them enough proof to justify this. Hey, something like this happened earlier. This is not a natural phenomenon. This is something doing this, and it's going to keep happening. Oh my goodness! And of course, I don't know what's it called, the fishermen, if they play into this, because the fishermen is like 1,000 meters under the ocean, something like that. It's some sort of large number. I know it's more than 200. Fisherman Island is more than 200 meters under the ocean. I know that much. They're a good bit. So I think their situation or their environment was like that even before the Void Central or Have At You. But everything else dropping or everything else being submerged by 200 meters of water is crazy. That is crazy. And the red line, I don't know how tall the red line is. It's obviously over 200 meters. But the red line itself, I don't know if the water left from the surrounding areas of the red line to flood out everything else, or if the red line itself was lower and then got the water levels next to it were lower, and the red line was even bigger than it was in the past than it was now. These are things to think about. And since Emu listening in on this, he's hearing all the info that Vegapunk is saying. So I know he's thinking to himself, where are my demons? Why are they not stopping this dude? He is saying everything. He is saying I know Emu is hot. Oh my goodness. I give it to the Gorosei. They're doing everything they can. One of them knocking out every snail that he can using hockey. One of them literally trying to cut Bonnie in two. He missed, but then he went off to try to find Vegapunk or stop the transmission. They are doing the best that they can. They are just in a terrible position. They are stuck between a rock and a hard place. They have no choice but to let this go on until they can find a way to stop it. And Vegapunk just saying way too much. Oh my goodness. He has the world in his palm of his hand now. The world is thinking. The world is thinking about his words. And he didn't even say much about Joy Boy. He didn't. Just the fact that the 20 kingdoms came together to deal with him, and because he had the backing of the ancient kingdom, a kingdom that was science far beyond where they currently have. That's probably at the bottom of the ocean now, which is crazy. crazy. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. I gotta sit and munch on this because I can't fully comprehend 200 meters of ocean just swooping in out of nowhere. Oh my goodness. So this was an amazing chapter. A lot of info just thrown on us by Vegapunk, but I'm happy to hear it. I can't wait to get more info from him because you know it's coming. He has more stuff to tell us. So I can't wait to the next episode, chapter and to many more. But I've been Live the Truth, man. I'm going to catch you on the next one. I'm out.